So once again, welcome everyone. Hello to all from India on behalf of Murshed and me. This is, as we all know, a web-based roundtable. My name is Anindya Purakayastha. I teach at the Institute of Language Studies and Research, Kolkata. And I'm also part of the Post-Colonial Studies Association of the Global South, the PSAGS. And as you can see that this is a roundtable on what we have called decoloniality now, ideas, practices, and new debates. This event is being organized by the Post-Colonial Studies Association of the Global South, along with the Ambedkar Center for Social and Cultural Studies. And this is being done in association with the Institute for Advanced Studies in the Humanities, University of Edinburgh, and the Institute of Language Studies and Research, ILSR Kolkata. Both Professor Lesley McAra, the director of the Institute of Advanced Studies for Institute for Advanced Studies in the Humanities, University of Edinburgh, and Dr. Shakti Guho, the director of the Institute of Language Studies and Research, are present here. And we are grateful to both of them for being collaborative partners for this event. Now, very briefly put, I need not say anything about decoloniality. Distinguished speakers and scholars are here to speak about that. We'll listen to them. But we, when Murshed and I thought of organizing this event, we looked at decoloniality primarily as a deconstructive, practice where we critique and question Eurocentric epistemes and ideas. And in larger extension, to extend the idea further, we also look at it as a kind of a critique of all forms of hierarchic thinking, whether it is Eurocentric hierarchic thinking or hierarchic thinking back in our space, in India, in other locations. So Murshed will elaborate on that, on the theme and the concept note of the event today. We are really grateful and thankful to the distinguished speakers for today's event, Professor Lesley McAra of Edinburgh University, Professor Philip Menon, University of Witwatersrand, and Dr. Katusa Bento, Dr. Dhiran Somoni, and Dr. Pavan Malreddy. My apologies if I pronounce the names incorrectly. My colleague, Dr. Murshed Alam, and me, when we thought of this, we got the inspiration from Murshed's participation in the fellowship program at the Institute of Advanced Studies for Humanities at Edinburgh University in 2023. Murshed will speak about it. And we planned the event in this way that Professor McAra will chair the event today. And it will begin with her opening remarks and opening lecture. And then each speaker will be invited to speak for 15 minutes. Each distinguished speaker will be speaking for 15 minutes. And that would be followed by closing remark and observation by Professor McAra. And Murshed and I will also respond to the speakers. After that, we will have question and answer sessions. And the discussion will follow. So that is the plan. That is how we planned it in this way. And now I request my colleague, Dr. Murshed Alam, to briefly talk about the concept note and also to introduce the distinguished speakers today. Over to you, Murshed.
Thank you, Professor Purakayastha. My apologies because my video perhaps is not working properly. Perhaps that is a reality of being in the global south today. Yeah, so on behalf of Ambedkar Center for Social and Cultural Studies, Gore College, I thank and greet everyone, all the esteemed speakers, as well as those who have kindly joined us. Perhaps a roundtable on decoloniality now should begin with the recognition of the multiple time zones and the multiple temporalities in which we live. So, good evening from India, good morning, good afternoon, and perhaps good night also to some of you. Myself, Murshed, I teach in the Department of English, Gore College, and I was a postdoctoral fellow at IS, University of Edinburgh, from September to December 2023. I thank Professor McAra and Dr. Katusa Bento for providing me the opportunity as I got the inspiration for this roundtable while being there. Two, three things actually led me to think about the theme of this roundtable. I'd like to enumerate those points. First, uh, my postdoctoral work was on the indigenous health practices from India and the British colonial response to that. And while I critiqued the colonial practices towards Indian health epistemes, I was also anxious that the critique might be appropriated by the Hindu right today, especially in the context where Patanjali and Ayurveda has become a sort of metaphor for cultural nationalism. So that was the one worry that I had. And the second fact, the distressing fact that all of us share perhaps now, the Israeli-Gaza war, following the October 7 ghastly attack by Hamas. Uh, while being in Edinburgh, I witnessed solidarity marches in Edinburgh, and we also see now that students in universities across USA are protesting against the ongoing genocide in Gaza. But to my dismay, I see that there is no protest going on from India or in India or in China or in Pakistan, all those countries or some of those countries who participated in the 1955 Bandung Conference. So this led me to think actually what happened to the vision of the Bandung Conference 70 years on. And the third point that led me to think about this is when we hear of decoloniality today, but the problem is that the voices that we hear are often the elites from the former colonies, caste or class elites, and the mainstream intellectuals. This divide and internal hierarchies also led me to think about what decoloniality means today. So decoloniality, which is of course an interventionist idea, an empowering idea that entails strategies ranging from reformulation of university curricula to the de-hierarchization of knowledge systems, addressing material inequality, and to reparative justice involving the repatriation of artifacts and materials taken away from the geographical and cultural habitats of former colonies. But to our dismay, we see that uncritical decolonization has also led in the former colonies to cultural nationalism, ethnic totalitarianism, and nativism. So this roundtable, invites critical thoughts. From the practitioners today, we have esteemed speakers who would be talking about, what decoloniality actually means today. Kindly allow me to introduce our distinguished speakers. We have four distinguished speakers. We have Professor Dilip Menon, who is the Mellon Chair of Indian Studies and the Director of the Center for Indian Studies in Africa at the University of Witwatersrand, South Africa. He was educated at the universities of Delhi, Oxford, and Cambridge, and he earned his PhD from Cambridge. Uh, his most recent book, which I am reading with avid interest, is Changing Theory, Concepts from the Global South, that was published in 2022. Among his other publications, we can mention Ocean as Method, Thinking with the Maritime, which was published in 2022, and another interesting edited volume, Capitalisms Towards a Global History. Professor Menon is one of the foremost thinkers of decoloniality from Global South today, and I take the privilege to welcome Professor Menon. Our next speaker is Dr. Katusa Bento, whom I had the privilege of interacting with while I was in Edinburgh. She is lecturer in race and decolonial studies at the University of Edinburgh, and she is also the co-founder of Free Afro-Brazilian University, UNAFRO. Her main inspirations are in Quilombo and Shamba communities' epistemologies and praxis, reaching out to Black feminists and queer subversive language to promote ethics of caring and power to the people. I am inspired by her activist scholarship, and I welcome Dr. Katusa Bento. Next, we have Dr. Pavan Kumar Malreddy, who is a friend and a mentor because I work with him as a team for publishing the journal called Kairos, a journal of critical symposium, which is a flagship journal of Post-Colonial Studies Association of the Global South. Pavan Malreddy teaches at Goethe University, Frankfurt, Germany. His publications include Orientalism, Terrorism, Indigenism, which was published in 2015, and the co-edited volume, Reworking Post-Colonialisms, which was published in 2015. He also co-edited with Professor Purakayastha, Violence in South Asia, Contemporary Perspectives, which was published in 2029 from Routledge. He has co-edited special issues with the Journal of Postcolonial Writing, JA, Journal of English and American Studies, Kairos, and European Journal of English Studies. And he has also written on terrorism, political violence, and post-colonial theory in many journals published from across the world. I welcome Dr. Pavan Kumar Malreddy. Perhaps he has not joined us yet. He will be joining us very soon. I take the pleasure of inviting my friend, Dr. Dhiran Soumoni, whom I met during my sojourn in Edinburgh. Dr. Dhiran Soumoni teaches innovation studies at the University of the Witwatersrand in South Africa. He holds a PhD from the Georgia Institute of Technology, USA, and was an African Fellow at IS, University of Edinburgh, 2023-2024. He is interested in the plural epistemological paradigms that underpin various innovation domains with a view to clarifying some of the conditions under which more equitable and just social outcomes might be attained. He is also a co-editor of the multidisciplinary journal Black Histories Dialogues. I also welcome Dr. Shati Guho, who is the director of ILSR, and I thank her for kindly agreeing to collaborate with us in organizing this event. And finally, I take the opportunity and the pleasure to invite our chair today, Professor Lesley McAra, CBE, who is she is the director of the Institute for Advanced Studies in the Humanities, IS, University of Edinburgh. She holds the chair of penology in the School of Law, University of Edinburgh. She is also assistant principal, community relations, a former dean of the law school, the first woman to be appointed to the post, and serves on the management board of the Global Justice Academy. I thank Professor McAra for accepting our invitation to chair the session, and I hand it over to you, Professor McAra.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you very much for inviting me to chair this. It's an absolute honour to be able to be here today, and also welcome from an afternoon in Edinburgh that is quite sunny and beautiful. So it's lovely to be here. As Murshed has said, I'm currently the director of the Institute for Advanced Studies in Humanities at Edinburgh, IASH as we call it. And this roundtable links to our broader institute project on decoloniality. And we've been running this project since 2021. It'll be coming to an end next year. And its overall aim is to challenge the power imbalances that have led to the exclusion and silencing of particular forms of knowledge, with a view to reimagining and reconstructing more just and inclusive futures. So we've got both backward-looking in terms of interrogating colonial histories, but also a real forward-looking momentum, I think, to look at more just and inclusive futures. And a critical objective, of course, is to de-centre whiteness in the academy and mitigate the disproportionate favouring of white English-speaking scholars. So for us, it's a really important thing. IPD reflects IH's commitment to both epistemic disruption, which is a fundamental part of IPD, but it also reflects, importantly, our commitment to dialogical ethics. That is in our questioning and our discussion and everything we do as a community of practice. We are respectful and nurturing of each other, and we try to put aside self-interest to find common ground. It's through such practices that we at IASH believe that deep learning is enabled, as well as personal and collective growth. Now, each year of the IPD project, we are hosting around 30 fellows, so there'll be over 100 people that have been working on this project by the time we come to an end, and they're researching all aspects of decoloniality, covering hugely wide range of topics, actually, from compensating mining-induced dispossession and intangible loss, that was one project last year, to mahogany, ivory and tortoiseshell, towards a political economy of 18th century keyboard instruments, to Murshed's own project on vaccine hesitancies, colonial biopolitics and debates around Indigenous medical epistemes. So it's a kind of a wide range, really wide-ranging project, which makes it such an exciting place to be, and how inspirational it is to see the work of such amazing scholars who are coming here. At IASH, we're also hosting the university's own project on its links as an institution to African enslavement and colonialism. I'm very proud that the university is actually facing up to its past, and hopefully this will lead to more just futures. And we've just published our first volume of essays celebrating year one of the Institute project, and a second volume is in progress and is going to be a special edition of the journal Identities, Global Studies in Culture and Power, which will come. The culmination of our project is going to be a major project next year, a major conference next year as part of IASH's 55th birthday celebrations. We missed our 50th birthday because of the COVID lockdowns, but we're going to try and celebrate next year. And we're going to try and bring back as many of our IPD participants as possible, and to which you on this call are all very warmly welcome. We'll be running it as a hybrid event, so there's multiple possibilities to be involved, and it'll be part of a week-long festival of IASH celebrations. So please watch this space and we'll keep in touch with you and let you know what's happening.